Okay, good morning. Our project for today will be to discuss the second part of our Anglo-Saxon poem and our epic poem, Beowulf, okay? So we're going to be talking about Beowulf against Grendel's mother, okay? Alexa, yeah.
Yo no.
Monster Slayer.
Como que no?
Monster Slayer. Page 51.
I've
51 at the bottom.
I've heard that my people, peasants working in the field, have seen a pair of such fiends, wandering in the moors and marshes, giant monsters living in those desert islands.
Okay.
Desert lands.
The one speaking here is Rutger. So he's going to be the one that is going to speak all the way to the part, all the way to page 52 before the battle with the monster. So all of that is going to be Rutger, okay?
And they said to my wise men that, as well as they could see, one of the devils was a female creature. The other, they say, walked through the wilderness like a man. But mightier than any man, they were frightened, and they fled, hoping to find help. And Herod they named the huge one Grendel. If he had a father, no one knew him.
So they don't know if he had a father or no. Okay, so the only thing they know is that he has a mother. That's it. Okay, go on.
Or whether there had been others before these two. Hidden evil before hidden evil. They lived in secret places, windy cliffs, wolf dens, where water pours from the rocks, then runs underground, where mist seems like black clouds, and the growths of trees, growing out over their lake, are all covered with frozen spray, and wind down snake-like roots that reach as far as the water, and help keep it dark. At night that lake burns like a torch. No one knows its bottom. No wisdom reaches such depths.
Okay, so the lair or the cave or the place where the mother lives, it's under the water. So, if you want to reach that place, then you have to dive into the water, swim down, and then you're going to see that lair down there, okay?
A deer hunted through the woods by a pack of hounds, a stag with great horns, driven through the forest from faraway places, prefers to die on those shores, refuses to save its life. In that water it isn't far, nor is it a pleasant spot. When the wind stirs and storms, waves splash toward the sky, as dark as the air, as black as the rain, that the heavens sweep. Our only help, again, lies with you. Grendel's mother is hidden in her terrible home, in a place you've not seen.
Okay, very important. Rutger is speaking to Beowulf because he is asking Beowulf for help. So basically he's begging him, Beowulf, you already helped us one with Grendel, we need your help again. What do you think Beowulf is going to do? He's going to go into the fight.
Seek it if you dare. Save us once more, and again twisted bull. Heaped up ancient treasure will reward you for the battle you win. Beowulf resolves to kill Grendel's monstrous mother. He travels to the lake in which she lives.
So he's going to what? He's going to dive down, go there, and look for Grendel's mother and see what happens. So let's begin on the battle with Grendel's mother. Go on. From now on, it's going to be Beowulf, okay?
Then those brave sons spoke. Remember, Rutger, O knowing king, now, when my danger is near, the warm words we uttered, and if your enemy should end my life, then be, O generous prince, forever the father and protector of all whom I leave behind me. Here in your hands, my beloved comrades, left with no leader, their leader dead, and the precious gifts you gave me. My friend, send them to Higlath. May he see in their golden brightness the Geats' great lord.
Okay, very important. In the part where it says, if your enemies shall end my life, all the way to their leader dead, right there, Beowulf is explaining, is asking Hrothgar, if it's my time to die against this monster, please take care of my men. Take care of my people if I'm to die. And then also, and the precious gifts you gave me, my friend, send them to Haglag. So all of the gifts that Hrothgar gave Beowulf, for all the things he did, to send them back to his land, Geatland, and to his lord Haglag, okay?
Gazing at your treasure, that here in Denmark I found a noble protector, a giver of rings, whose reward I won and breathed me relish. And you, unfurled, let my famous old sword stay in your hands. I shall shake glory with grunting, or death will hurry me from this earth. As his words ended, he leaped into the lake, would not wait for anyone's answer. The heaving water covered him over. For hours he sank through the waves.
So he's right there at the bottom of the water already.
At last he saw the mud of the bottom, and all at once the greedy she-wolf, who'd ruled those waters for 500 years, discovered him, saw that a creature from above had come to explore the bottom of her wet world. She welcomed him in her claws, clutched at him savagely, but could not harm him, tried to work her fingers through the tight, ring-woven mail on his breast, but tore and scratched in vain.
So what happened? She found Beowulf in the water, and she's trying to attack him with her claws, okay? But what happens? She hasn't been able to do it.
Then she carried him, armor and sword and all, to her home. He struggled to free his weapon and failed. The fight brought other monsters swimming to see her catch.
So the monster grabbed Beowulf and took him down to her lair.
A host of sea beasts who beat at his mail shirt, stabbing with tusks and teeth as they followed along. Then he realized suddenly that she brought him into someone's battle hall, and there the water's heat could not hurt him, nor anything in the lake attack him. Through the building's high arcing roof, a brilliant light burned all around him, the lake itself like a fairy flame. Then he saw the mighty water witch, and swung his sword, his ring-marked blade, straight at her head. The iron sang its fierce song, sang Beowulf's strength, but her guest discovered that no sword could slice her evil skin, that grunting could not hurt her, was useless now when he needed it.
Okay. When Beowulf is now fighting with Grendel's mother, he found out something. What was that? What happened with the sword? Okay, but swords, very important. No sword can harm Grendel's mother. So if he cannot use a sword to fight against the mother, what do you think he's going to have to use? His bare hands. So he has to fight again with his bare hands. There's no way he could use a sword to fight against a monster. Very important to know it, okay? Swords are useless against Grendel's mother. Go ahead.
They wrestled, she ripped and tore and clawed at him. They holes in his helmet, and that to fail him, for the first time in years, of being born to war it, would earn no glory. It was the last time anyone would wear it.
So she destroyed his helmet. It's completely destroyed.
But Beowulf, long only for fame, leaped back into battle. He tossed his sword aside, angry. The steel-edged blade lay where he dropped it. If weapons were useless, he'd use his hands, the strength in his fingers. So fame comes to the men who need to win it, and care about nothing else. He raised his arms and seized her by the shoulder. Anger doubled his strength. He threw her to the floor. She fell. Grendel's fierce mother and the Geats' proud prince was ready to leap on her. But
So right now, the one that is having the advantage in the fight is Beowulf, okay?
But she rose at once and repaid him with her clutching claws, wildly tearing at him. He was weary, that best and strongest of soldiers. His His feet stumbled, and in an instant she had him down, held helpless. Squatting with her weight on his stomach, she drew a dagger, brown with dried blood, and prepared to avenge her only son.
Okay, now who has the advantage? Grendel's mother. She grabbed a dagger with blood, and she's about to what? She's gonna stab Beowulf. She's looking to kill him, finish him off.
But he was stretched on his back, and her stabbing blade was blunted by the woven mail shirt he wore on his chest. The hammered lynx held the point, could not touch him.
Okay, Beowulf had like an armor shirt, and that protected him from that dagger. Okay.
He'd have traveled to the bottom of the earth, at Geto's son, and died there. If that shining woven metal had not helped, and holy God who sent him victory, gave judgments for truth and right, ruler of the heavens. Once Beowulf was back on his feet and fighting, then he saw, hanging on the wall, a heavy sword, hammered by giants, strong and blessed with their magic, the best of all weapons, but so massive that no ordinary man could lift. Its scarfed and decorated length.
Okay, stop there. As he's fighting, he's gonna look at one of the areas of that layer. He's gonna see a big sword. That sword, it was hammered. It was created by the giants. However, when they finished the sword, these giants put magic on that sword. The problem here is, if it's done by a giant, it should be a heavy sword. So, who's the only one with the abilities to lift that sword?
A giant.
A giant. And in this case, who else? You sure the monsters? Who do you think that is strong enough to lift it? Beowulf. So Beowulf is going to grab that sword and he's going to use it against Grendel's mother. Go on.
He drew it from its scabbard, broke the chain on its hilt, and then, savage now, angry and desperate, lifted it high over his head and struck with all the strength he had left. Caught her in the neck and cut it through, broke bones and all. Her body fell to the floor lifeless. The sword was wet with her blood, and Beowulf rejoiced at the sight. A brilliant light shone suddenly as though burning in that hall, and as bright as heaven's own candle. Lit in the sky, he looked at her home, then following along the wall, went walking, his hands tight on the sword, his heart still angry. He was hunting another dead monster, and took his weapon with him, for final revenge against Grendel's vicious attacks. His nighttime raged over and over, coming to Herod when Hrothgar's men slept, killing them in their beds, eating some on the spot, 15 or more, and running to his loathsome moor, with another such sickening meal waiting in his pouch. But Beowulf repaid him for those visits, found him lying dead in his corner, harmless, exactly as that fierce fighter had sent him out from Herod, then struck off his head with a single swift blow.
Okay, so Beowulf already killed the mother. So the mother is already dead, and as he continues all pissed off, he's mad. He sees Grendel. Remember that after he was killed, the night after, what did the mother do? She went back to the hall, took him with her back to the lair. So as he's walking around, he's gonna see Grendel laying on the floor without the arm. And what he does with the sword, he chops off his head. Okay?
The body jerked for the last time, then lay still. The wise old warriors who surrounded Hrothgar, like him, staring into the monster's blade, saw the way surging and blood spurting through. They spoke about Beowulf. All the gray beards whispered together and said that hope was gone, that their hero had lost fame and his life at once, and would never return to the living, come back as triumphant as he had left. Almost all agreed that Grendel's mighty mother, that she-wolf, had killed him.
What do you think? What do you think when they're on top of the lake, or right there on top, and they're looking at the lake, and what is the first thing that they see?
They see blood.
They see blood. So by seeing that blood, they automatically think, you know what?
He's dead.
Beowulf is dead. Okay.
The sun slid over past noon, when further down, the Danes gave up, left the lake, and went home, Hrothgar with them. The Geats stayed, sat sadly, watching, imagining they saw their lord, but not believing they would ever see him again. Then the sword melted, blood soaked, dripping down like water, disappearing like ice when the world's eternal Lord loosens invisible fetters and unwinds icicles and frost, as only he can. He who rules time and sessions, he who is truly God. The monster's hall was full of rich treasures, but all that Beowulf took was Grendel's head and the hilt of the giants.
So he took Grendel's head.
Jeweled sword. The rest of that ring-marked blade had the salt in Grendel's steaming blood, boiling even after his death. And then the battle's only survivor swam up and away from those silent corpses. The water was calm and clean, the whole huge lake peaceful, once the demons who lived in it were dead. Then that noble protector of all seamen swam to land, rejoicing in the heavy burdens he was bringing with him. He and all his glorious band of Geats thanked God that their leader had come back unharmed.
Okay, very important. When there were soldiers from the Geats, from Beowulf, and from the Danes, from Hrothgar, when they see the pile of blood right there in the water, the ones from Hrothgar, the Danes, they leave because they think that he's dead. The only ones that stay with the hope that probably Beowulf could be alive were his men, the ones from Geatland, okay? And when he comes up, for sure they know that he's still alive, okay?
They left the lake together. The Geats carried Beowulf's helmet and his mail shirt. Behind them, the water slowly thickened as the mother's blood came seeping up. They walked quickly, happily, across roads all of them remembered, left the lake and the cliffs alongside brave men, staggering under the weight of Grendel's skull, too heavy for fewer than 4 of them to handle. 2 on each side of the spear jammed through it, yet proud of their ugly load and determined that the Danes, seated in merit, should see it. Soon 14 Geats arrived at the hall, bold and warlike, and with Beowulf, their leader, their lord and leader, they walked onto the mead hall green. Then the Geats' brave prince entered Hera, covered with glory for the daring battles he had fought. He sought Hrothgar to salute him and show Grendel's head. He carried that terrible trophy by the hair, brought it straight to where the Danes sat, drinking the queen among them. It was weird and wonderful sight, and the warriors stared. After being honored by Hrothgar, Beowulf and his fellow Geats return home, where he eventually becomes king. Beowulf rules Geatland for 50 years. When a dragon menaces his kingdom, Beowulf, now an old man, determines to slay the beast. Before going into battle, he tells his men about the royal house and his exploits in its service.
So basically, that's the end of part number 2 and the battle against Grendel's mother. However, now he's going to have a new test, and now we're going to begin with what it is, our 3rd battle. In this case, Beowulf versus the dragon. Thank you very much.